Hello YouTube. Today's video is going to be the interior of my 2016 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, which you can see right behind me, and I'm probably going to be able to show you hopefully a couple of things you've never seen on any other videos that you've seen on YouTube. So next time we should be looking from the outside through the doors into the interior. I find this car is just the most amazing car inside and out. The doors have leather on the bottom. They do have plastic on the top. There is some people that claim the controls on the door panel are a little bit cheap and plasticky. I don't find them so much to be that way. But when you move to the interior of the car, I got the leather interior package, and the seats are wrapped in leather. You have the Bumblebee embossed logo on the seats, and the entire interior is just beautiful. A clear upgrade from the 2008 to 2014 Challengers. And when I flip the back seat open, you can see there's quite a bit of seating back there, and I found that you can fit 2 full-size adults back there. You may have to move the front seats up a little bit, but they can be comfortable back there, and I've had 6-foot people back there. Now from the passenger's perspective, here we are again. And this is from the passenger's perspective. Again, the interior is beautiful. The seats are leather wrapped with Alcantara inserts, and they are ventilated and heated. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more. Again, you can move the front seats forward, and it's easy access to the rear. And it's a beautiful rear end on this car as far as the rear seats. And the dash is a real nice soft vinyl. It's an amazing material. Now to the inside. Now the first thing I want to show you is one of my favorite features of this car. It's the full-out bezel called a hectic mesh bezel. And this, as you can see, this is a standard 6-speed Tremec manual transmission. But the hectic mesh bezel is a unique bezel, one of the finest bezels I've ever seen on a car. In fact, I like this way better than the Hellcat ragtooth bezel. I'm not a real big fan of that, but the bezel goes all the way through the entire dash. And it is an interesting feature, because if I can get close enough here, you can see all the pinholes plus the honeycomb pattern. It's something else. You can even see my camera blinking against it. And it is a really nice surface. I demanded that this be part of my Scat Pack package, and I believe the hectic mesh comes with the Scat Pack appearance group, but it also is featured as part of the leather interior group. So if you want this bezel, make sure that you select one of those 2 options when ordering the car, or look for it when you see a car like this on the lot. Another feature that is a part of the leather interior group is the ventilated seats. Now, a lot of people confuse these with having air-conditioned seats, but they really aren't air-conditioned. But it does feel that way when you have the air conditioning running. It does blow the air-conditioned cooled air through the seats, and it is amazing. You will never have a hot behind in this car, not during the summer. Another cool feature of this car is just the entire display, the TFT and the tach and the speedometer. The tach and the speedometer are actually a throwback to the tic-tac tach speedometers of the 71 Challengers. And the TFT display is honestly one of the most adaptable displays. You can switch it from miles per hour to kilometers. And then when you go to vehicle info, you get oil life, battery voltage, intake air temp, engine torque, engine power, tire pressure, coolant temperature, oil pressure, and then back to oil life. On screen 3, you have the performance pages, which current G-force, peak G-forces, lap timer, lap history, top speed, oops, a little bit too fast, 0 to 60 timer, 0 to 100 miles per hour timer, 1/8 mile timer, quarter mile timer, braking distance, and back to current G-forces. You also have fuel economy. Obviously 13.3 is not that great. You have trip info, and you do have trip A and trip B. And then last but not least, the audio tells you what you are displaying as far as sound. There's a 7 screen for messages and a screen setup, and this allows you to change all the parameters for what you see. And you'll notice the range 240 miles as far as the fuel. That's selected right now, and I can change that, but I am choosing not to at this point. And then we go back to speedometer. And now, of course, one of the greatest features of this car is the Uconnect 7-inch screen, and this allows you to change all of your radio stations. The car does come, when you purchase it, it comes with a year of Sirius XM, and you can change AM, FM, you can create all your presets, you can tune via this button and tune to a specific radio station. Media, you can use USB, auxiliary, Bluetooth, or an SD card, and you can jump between stations. You can also go ahead and plug in a auxiliary. You can also control the audio via the 2 controls behind the steering wheel. It allows you to change channels, change to the next track on your whichever device you're following, or to change from AM, FM, or to change your presets, and of course your volume. Controls, here's where you control the heated and ventilated seats. You also control the mirror dimmer, the heated wheel, and you can turn the screen off. I'm sure you've probably seen that. You just have to touch it again and it turns back on. And this is where you get into your settings. The next, of course, is the apps, which this is one thing I have not played around with a lot. There are several apps on here. I'm not sure if you can add apps to it or not. And then we go to climate, completely control whatever you so choose. You can have both of the driver and passenger air or heat synced, or if you take it off, then the passenger and driver can independently control the climate. And that controls the on off again. And then the last thing that I like is, I don't have a phone paired to this right now, but one of the things you can do is when you push dial, or when you go into the phone book, it allows you to click on a ABC alphabetical directory that you can go directly to, like say Aunt M. You can click on A and it'll go directly to the A category. This is an awesome screen, and if you push the Super Trackback button, you'll go straight to launch control, and you can go ahead and move to the performance pages. It takes a moment to load. Shows you different views of the Challenger, which are nice, but like a lot of people have said, I wish it was the same color as mine, but it isn't. And then you have your full set of different timers, current times, the last time, the best, and the save times. Right now I don't have anything in there. I haven't been pushing this car too hard. And then when you go to gauges, you have coolant temperature, air, oil temperature, oil pressure. On gauges 1, on gauges 2, you have battery voltage and intake air temp. Under G-force, you have the peak G-forces in all directions, and currently, and what it has been as far as a peak the last time we recorded it. And then you have, this is probably one of the favorite screens for the passengers. This gives you a clear indication of the power as far as horsepower and torque, and the miles per hour, and the PSI. This is always a favorite. When we go back to this Super Trackback button, we can go into the drive mode setups, and you can then go ahead and hit on sport mode. You can change the settings for sport mode. There's only 3 settings with a manual transmission, and then you can also go to the default setup, but the only thing here is that you can change is the steering. Other than that, there isn't any other setting change. There's a lot to this Uconnect. You can basically control all the aspects of when it decides to honk the horn when you lock the door. You can change times on that. There are so many things that you can change in the settings. It's a wonderful system. This is well worth the money. Now on to 2 different things that I have yet to see on YouTube. Now at the start of the video, I was going to show you 2 unusual features of this car that I really haven't seen anywhere else. The first is right at startup. Scat Pack B burns out and takes off to the right of the screen. It only shows up at startup. That's one. Now the second thing I wanted to show you is the display themes. I have yet to see this on the web. There may be somebody that has done this, but there are 8 different display themes, in this car. And you have to go into settings, hit display, hit set theme, and then we'll turn on 1, and that is what I believe is a Chrysler 300 with a red background. Now back to controls and settings, and display theme. We'll go to number 2, and this is unique. It's kind of like a black grayish smoky theme. Three. This is my favorite. It's a hectic mesh theme. Number 4 is the same hectic mesh theme, but in a very, very brilliant red. Now number 5 is the red hectic mesh theme with the Hellcat symbol embossed over the top of it. Number 6 is now a series of rows of gray bars that disappear in the distance. Seven is the same series of rows of bars in a bright red. And 8 is the same bright red bars, but with the Hellcat's emblem superimposed over the top. But my favorite by far is number 3, which is the hectic mesh background. It's beautiful, very subtle, and it's something that I have seen very little notice of on the web. There's nothing in the Challenger manual, the Scat Pack manual, that outlines what these themes are. I do not believe that anyone has figured out, or that there actually is a way to upload some type of backdrop into the system. I think this is a firmware situation. You have 8 choices, and that's all you have. Another feature of this car is the Scat Pack appearance group. You get the Scat Pack Super B stitched on both front seats. A very nice feature.